It's time for another edition of This Week with Carolina's Football Commits. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our Director of Football Recruiting and Jack of all trades, Miss Dina King. And as we do every week, Dina, you provide your top 5 future Tar Heels from the previous week and then preview the top 3 games coming up this weekend. But with the state playoffs winding down, a lot of players' seasons are over, so we have a top 3 players this week, but we do also have 3 games to look ahead to for this coming weekend. Let's begin with the top players from this past weekend. Keenan Jackson, wide receiver. Weddington defeated Grimsley 44-27. That must have been a sensational game. So go ahead and tell me why you chose Keenan Jackson.
Stat-wise, Keenan, I believe, caught like 2 passes for 20 yards, but he made probably the biggest play of the game when he returned an onside kick for Weddington to basically seal the victory for them against a very good Grimsley team that came in 13-0 and had several Power 5 players, including UNC commit Alex Taylor. So Weddington moves on to the next round.
Any idea what kind of crowd they had for that game?
I'm sure they had a really good crowd. It's a 4A in Weddington. They usually have a tremendous crowd and at their games, and it was the only, with them being hosting a Greensboro school, I'm sure they had a lot of fans and at that game. So it was, they got another big one this week too.
We will highlight that when we look ahead to the 3 biggest games this coming weekend. Michael Merdinger, the quarterback from Cardinal Gibbons down in Florida. His team lost, but he had a pretty solid outing. Go ahead and talk about what he did.
He completed 14 of 28 passes for 178 yards and a touchdown, and it looked like it was a shootout with American Heritage. American Heritage won 47-35, and they have a really very good young 2026 quarterback, Dia Bale, who came up to visit UNC for the Duke game and had a lot of good things to say about Carolina. So, that closes out Michael's career, high school career. And so I think he had a really good senior campaign, considering that he was basically the backup last year. So 9-4 is a good year for Cardinal Gibbons, and looking to see what Michael does, if he decides to early enroll or if he'll come in, after like the other ones after the spring semester. So we should be getting some details soon about who's going to be early enrolling.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll have something probably within a couple of weeks or so, and make sure that you come over to our site and get that information. And you can do so for just $8.33 a month. You just missed out on a great special. We ran a Black Friday special. You could have been on for $2.09 a month, but you know what? $8.39, still a phenomenal deal. It's less than a number to drive through. The number 1 player from last weekend, Davion Gause, the running back from Chaminade Madonna, a loaded program. They defeated Cardinal Newman, routed them, and he had a big game once again, Dina.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to judge Davion's performance because his team is so good, and they usually blow teams out. Last week he had 1 carry for 40 yards, and it was a touchdown. This week he had more carries. I believe he had, 9 carries for 149 yards with 3 touchdowns and caught a pass for 18 yards. So he got to play. I guess that they wanted to feature the running game because they do have a very good passing attack down there at Chaminade Madonna with a Power 5 quarterback and a few Power 5 elite wide receivers there. So Glad to see Davion do well. He had some injury issues halfway through the season, and he seems like he's bounced back and looking to help Chaminade Madonna to a championship.
All right, Dana, let's look ahead to the three biggest games this weekend involving future Tar Heels. Gatewood versus Edmund Burke Academy in Georgia.
Evan Bennett, that plays at Gatewood, they're playing in the GIAA Class AA State Championship. Gatewood beat Edmund Burke earlier this year, so anytime that a player can play for a state championship should be highlighted. And Evan has had a pretty good year. He's also had some injury issues, so we'll be watching that, and hopefully Evan Bennett will join Jordan Shipp as a state champion.
There you go. Christ Presbyterian Academy in Tennessee versus Boyd Buchanan High School. Cruz Law, who has gotten a lot of love from Carolina fans on social media and also on our boards of late. So what's going on with that game?
Well, like you mentioned, Cruz Law, he's going to be a fan favorite because he does. I mean, he's had such a great senior season on both sides of the ball. And I think I say this a lot because a lot of the Carolina commits in this class, they're just versatile, and they're probably their best player on their team, and they play on offense, and they play on defense, and they play on special teams. But Christ Presbyterian is going for a TSSAA Division II Class AA. Oh, that's a
load.
Yeah, state championship there in Tennessee. So, and you know what? He could join Jordan Shipp as well. So, two Carolina commitments going for state championships this week.
All right, and we discussed Weddington earlier. Weddington versus Charlotte Independence. Keenan Jackson looking for a shot to advance to a state championship. Is this game going to be at a campus or on campus, or is it going to be at a neutral site?
It'll be at Weddington. Weddington has a nice facility. They have turf, and they got a lot of space. So huge crowd. You mentioned Keenan Jackson. Weddington has a lot of great players on that team, especially young players. Thomas Davis, his son, Thomas Davis Jr. is on there, and the Harris twins, who have got multiple Power 5 offers. So they're a loaded team there at Weddington, and so that is for the 4A Western Regional Championship. The winner of that, we don't know exact what time, but we do know that the 4A State Championship will be at Carter Finley in Raleigh. The 2A and 4A will be in Raleigh, and the 1A and the 3A will be at Kenan Stadium. So, but we just don't know when those or what classifications will be playing then. But it should be a really good environment with Independence. They've kind of had they got really hot at the right time. Independence is like a 26 seed, and Weddington's number 1. But when you get to the playoffs, it's 0-0. All wins and losses are erased, and it's the new season. And so they've been really hot and beating some good teams too.
Yeah, and some of us, when we see Independence's name pop up, we still think about that incredible run that they had, and where they were one of the preeminent programs in all of high school football for some time. So I think it's kind of cool. You get Grimsley one week and Independence with its history. And then next week is pretty cool for Weddington.
Yeah, and Independence, you were talking about that legacy. It's Tommy Knotts, who won several, had that national winning streak, and he's went down to South Carolina, and he's done the same thing down there at Dutch Fork. They've won I can't even remember how many. I know it's at least 5 or 6, and they're going for another state championship down in South Carolina, I believe, this week. So
He
he's just
flat out
a
coach.
winner. Yeah.
Yeah, he can flat out coach. All right, Dina, the high school season is winding down. I think next week or in 2 weeks, we're going to do this show. It's going to be about 45 seconds. So hey, I'm excited. I think it's cool to see kids win state titles in football. It's such an amazing experience for those dudes. So maybe some of these kids will pick one up and head to Chapel Hill with some hardware in their back pocket. She's Dina King. I'm AJ. We'll be back on this show again next week. And of course, we've got a ton of stuff coming for you all week long, not just on our channel here, but our website, TarHeelIllustrated.com, is loaded. And just for just $8.33 a month, you can be a Tar Heel Insider too. So come on over, sign up, hang out, be a part of our community. You will not regret it. Thanks, Dina.
Thank you.